So you have about 30 days to your first GCSE exam and you're completely freaking out. Here's what you need to do. Hi guys, it's Missy and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to get 7s, 8s and 9s in your GCSE exams. So this is stuff that I would recommend you start doing now if you want to get high grades. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow me on all my social medias, and let's get into the video. So the first thing that I would say you need to do, especially because it's so late, is that you need to make a list of all the topics that you have. If you have like a checklist in your textbook, that is fine. You don't have to write everything down, but you need to make a list of stuff that you know, and you know that when you go over it you can get it in your head, and then stuff you don't know and that if you see them on a past question paper or you see them in an exam, you're gonna completely freak out and not write the right thing. So you need to have a list of stuff that you know you don't know and stuff that you know that you can revise and get in your head. So for my GCSEs, this is what I used. I made sure I had all the CGP textbooks and workbooks. They were literally a lifesaver. I didn't use the workbooks in my revision, but now that I see the importance of active recall when you learn something, I would definitely recommend the workbooks, but I mainly use the textbooks. Then for YouTube channels, for science and math, so biochem, physics, and then GCSE math, I watched Cognito. He honestly, in my opinion, he is so much better than Free Science Lessons. It's so much like, there's so much more visual effects in his videos and it's just more colorful, so it's easier for me to remember because I feel like I'm a visual learner. There has to be some color, there has to be some videos and stuff like that for me to remember it. And so his videos were so good. And another bonus thing is that they have a website. So after each video on the website, you can take a quiz to test your knowledge. And I love that so much. I finished the entire thing for bio, especially bio and chem, because I didn't do physics. But for bio and chem, I made sure I went through every single topic from start to finish and I did all the quizzes until I got everything correct. That was honestly what saved me. I did that even the night before. It would be so much better if you can have that done at least a week before your actual paper, because then you know that you actually have the basic knowledge before you start going in depth, if that makes sense. Obviously, the main YouTube channel that everybody knows, Free Science Lessons, he's good as well. He's really good for required practicals, I will say. And honestly, I feel like you need to watch both of them. Anything that you feel like maybe too simplistic by Cognito, then you can go to Free Science Lessons because I feel like he might go a bit more in depth. Or any harder topics that you feel like you need someone to explain to you, definitely go to Free Science Lessons. But I really use those two YouTube channels. I think for English I watched Mr. Bruff, but not for literature. It's one or the other. I think just watch to have an overview, but definitely do your own like revision. Don't ever sit back and think that you have time, because now you really don't have time. The main tip that I would give you if you're someone like me is to focus on spaced repetition. So I never really used mind maps or flashcards because I feel like I would spend so much time making sure it looked pretty and I wouldn't actually retain any information. And even now, like, I don't think there's enough time for you to start making mind maps for every single topic. So I would just focus on spaced repetition. I had my book open, I highlighted the most important things I know I needed to remember, and then I kept saying it out loud and repeating it to myself until it went in my head. And I don't know if that's like cramming or anything, but that's literally what I did, and that's what works for me, and that's what I've done for every single test or exam I've had. So I read it, I say it out loud, and I memorize it, and then I try to say it again without looking in my book. And then if I felt like I really needed to write something down, because I know some people have that urge to write something down when they're revising, I had my whiteboard and my pens, and I would write down what I knew. I'd blur basically, and then I would take another color and make annotations of what I need to add or stuff that I got wrong that I need to correct. And that's honestly the best way that I would say to revise, because that's what I did and that's what worked for me. With my CGP textbook, this is specifically for science. I feel like the things you can give the most tips for are like the sciences and the maths. For my science revision on the CGP textbooks, I read everything, made sure I did my spaced repetition, make sure I memorized everything and knew that I knew what I was doing. And then at the end of each topic, there is, I think, like 3 or 4 questions. I made sure that I answered all of them. And at the end of each chapter, there were also topics as well. I made sure that I answered all of them as well. So I would test my knowledge. And then I did some past papers. I'm not really a fan of past papers, but I know the value of them. So I did do some past papers to make sure that I could. And then the most important thing about doing past question papers is that you're going through the mark scheme and you're seeing exactly how they want you to answer the questions, because it doesn't make sense if you're just answering the questions and marking it wrong without taking note of the corrections. So you need to know what type of terminology they want you to use, specific keywords, because honestly, not saying a word could lose you 1 or 2 marks, and that is literally the difference between grade boundaries. And that is so crazy to think that if I added this word, I would get 2 marks and I would be at an 8 instead of a 7. So you need to make sure that you know the important words they need you to use, and you know how to structure your answers for longer mark questions in general. And examiners reports and stuff like that, those are really helpful. I'm not gonna say make sure you have 8 hours of sleep, blah blah blah, because I didn't. I probably was running on 2 to 3 hours of sleep every time I had an exam. And if you're not like me and you can't run and function on 2 hours of sleep, then you need to go to bed earlier, and then that means that you need to have everything done before the night before the exam, or else you're just gonna go to bed unprepared and you're gonna wake up more panicked than usual. But I just made sure that before I went to bed, I had at least looked over every single topic, because you never know where like something that you remember, even if you looked over it once, might be important, and that could give you extra marks. Like, make sure you look through every single topic, even if you can't go through it in depth and you're not done with revision by the time your day of exam comes up. Make sure you look over it, you know at least one key point in that, so that you can gain marks even on the littlest of things. Because honestly guys, getting all the marks, and like even if it's 1 mark in a 6 mark question, at least you got a mark there. It's better than leaving it blank and having 0. So I would say, like, do what you need to do. It's a time for you to push. It's a time for you to be in extreme pressure. So even if you're losing sleep, at least you know that when you're done, you can have all the sleep you want and you're gonna get the grades you want. So yeah, it's good to have good sleep, but if you're not going to bed feeling confident about yourself and you're gonna wake up next morning in like such a panic that you just fail anyway, like what's the point? So to summarize, I feel like this is a really short video because there's not that many tips. You just have to make sure that you're focused and you know what you want to achieve, because you're never going to be able to do any of these stuff effectively if you don't have the mindset that you need to do this to reach the targets you set for yourself. Then you're not going to do it. So as I said, the stuff I used were the CGP textbooks and the workbooks. I made sure I had some past papers and mark schemes so I could study the examiner's reports and what they want you to say. For YouTube videos, I watched Cognito for bio and chem, and for physics, and then for math as well, because they really help me understand the concepts. And then English, I watch Mr. Braff. Make sure you annotate, make sure you practice. You just need to know the structure of each question, what you need to say to get marks on each question. Because if you're writing like nice things in literally in any like subject, if you're writing such nice things but you don't structure it well and you're not forming your sentences properly, you're not going to get the full marks. So you need to know how to structure your questions. For YouTube videos, I watch Cognito, as I just said, Free Sentences, and Mr. Braff. Make sure you do active recall and spaced repetition, so answer the quizzes in the Cognito website, and make sure that you answer all the questions at the bottom of each topic, which I feel like is in every textbook. Yeah guys, I think that is all the tips I have. I feel like this is a very short video, but I feel like I went straight to the point. So hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions on anything at all, make sure you send them in the comment section and I will definitely respond to them. And yeah, good luck to everyone writing GCSEs this year. I'm writing my A-levels, so I understand what you're feeling right now. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow me on all my social medias, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.